Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Ace from acemadden.com, and today I'm going to show you guys how to read a defense in Madden 23. Now, this is a fundamental tip, so if you feel like you're a high-level player, you might not find too much value in this, but if you're a beginner or an intermediate, you definitely can find value in this, so stay tuned for the breakdown. Now, before I do that, though, I just want to say a huge thank you to King Wolf on YouTube. If you guys don't know who King Wolf is, you definitely should. He's one of the best Madden YouTubers we have. He's posting multiple times a day right now, and all of his content is good. He posts tips that are helpful. He posts gameplays that are funny. He does everything. So check him out on YouTube if you don't know who he is. He's been good to me over the years, and his content is always good. So check him out, subscribe, tell him Ace sent you, and it will be greatly appreciated. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the basics of reading a defense. So I'm going to come out in a play. It doesn't really matter which one. And then let's go ahead and let's just do Tampa 2. Keep it very simple to begin with. So let me go ahead and press. This way there's no tells. I have no idea, otherwise if I didn't pick Tampa 2, that it's Tampa 2. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to send the routes out. And then we'll go to instant replay. I'm not even going to throw the ball. So let's just let the play unfold. So the first thing you want to do when you're reading a defense, and this is generally speaking, because yes, there's exceptions where you'll want to read your actual receivers first and all that kind of stuff. But this is just a general practice here, is read these two safeties. When you snap the ball, pay attention to what they do. So right here, snap, what are they doing? They are both angling towards the sideline, and anytime you see this kind of pathing from the safeties, your brain should say cover 2. It's some kind of cover 2. I might not know yet if it's a zone or a man. If I have no pre-snap tells and I don't know if it's a zone or a man, and then you snap it and you see this, it's some kind of cover 2 show. Or you can assume very safely that it's some kind of cover 2 show. And the reason for that is they can't, for instance, have these outside cornerbacks and outside thirds, because if they did that, they would have no flats. And it kind of ruins the structural integrity of what zone they're running or whatever defense they're running. Like if it was a cover 2 man, if they had these guys in outside thirds and they're leaving 2 men uncovered on each side. So you get what I'm saying? You can't do stuff like that without leaving giant holes in whatever you're doing. So you can safely assume it's some kind of cover 2. And then what do you do at this point? Well, at this point, that's when you start looking underneath. There's 2 ways you can kind of do it. You can read the defenders and see what they're doing, or you could read your receivers and see if anybody's trailing. That's kind of up to you on how you want to do that, but just on any given snap, it'll be different. But really, what you're seeing here is the linebackers, for instance, they're not trailing anybody. They're just dropping back. So within the first second, you'll know if it's zone or man, because you can just look at the safeties for half a second and then look underneath for half a second, and okay, they're dropping back. So at this point, what do you do? So on any given route combination, you typically want to have an option versus any coverage, at least against people who are mixing in their stuff. I know there's so many people who just don't even mix up their coverages. They'll just spam cover 3 all game or something. And at that point, yeah, you can run cover 3 beaters. But let's just make the assumption that, somebody is mixing in their coverages, and on any given snap, you just don't know what they're in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say that I look at this and I'm like, you know what? I think this is a cover 3. He's been calling cover 3 quite a bit, probably his most common coverage. So let me run a cover 3 beater. So I'll do something like this maybe. Block my running back, give a backside drag. And with this, what I'm going to see is I want to get this corner route. The corner route is my big play here, because B is going to clear out the outside third, and then RB is going to get underneath that third and over a flat, or the out route's going to be open underneath. You're flooding the zone over here. And then if all else fails, this backside drag is going to be open. And then let's just say worst case scenario, it ends up being a cover 1. Then what do I have open? I have 2 routes. I have my out route and I have my corner route. So let's go ahead and snap the ball. I see, oh crap, it's a cover 2. What do I have? I have my corner route, and then I also probably have that underneath drag. So let's go ahead, go to instant replay. So I expected a cover 3. It ended up being a cover 2. And at this point, what does your brain say? Your brain says, okay, what do I have on the field right now that can beat a cover 2? And this is information you get from playing the game. You're not going to know immediately just from this video. Like, you have to gain information. Like, for instance, like this drag, he's going to get underneath any kind of zone. So let's say this is the user, and the user is like, oh crap, I got to defend this corner out. Well, if they're in a zone covers, this drag is going to get into a hole where they vacated. So you see how this guy's open? This guy is technically open as well underneath. And then this corner out is just really good. It'll get open versus like any coverage if you have a clear out. So that's just information I know from playing the game. So let's go ahead and change things up a little bit. Let's go ahead and just show you like what different coverages look like. So let's go ahead and let's do a cover 3. I'm going to base align it. So when they base align and press, like it looks like a 2 deep look. We don't know it's a cover 3 because there's no tell. But if you like, for instance, let me snap the ball and throw it away. Before I base align and press, let me show you. When you see this single high look, just generally speaking, it's a cover 3 or it's a cover 1 almost every single time. Now, there are certain cases where like this player, you know, he could be in a deep half, not in this specific defensive formation, but like a 3-4 bear. You might have a safety in the box and then he can drop into a deep half, and then this guy drops into the deep half over here. But that's kind of like a cover 2 invert of sorts. So that's a very kind of rare example, but we're just talking most of the time here. You see this single high look, it's always, well, not always, most of the time going to be cover 3 or cover 1. And that's really good information for you. But if you base align and press, well, at this point, you have absolutely no idea what coverage they're in. You know, you might know they're in a zone, but you don't know if they're in a cover 2 or a cover 3 or a cover 4. You just will not know until you snap the ball. So let's go ahead and snap the ball. And then you're going to see one of the safeties comes down into the box, kind of. Not fully into the box, but he comes down. So remember, read the safeties. And then you look, you're going to see, okay, one's rolling towards the middle side of the field, and one safety's coming down. So as soon as you see this right here, get very familiar with this in practice mode. Just snap the ball versus cover 3 and just get familiar with how it looks and what the safeties are doing. When you see the safety come down like this, you have to know that it's a cover 3 or a cover 1. Like literally, like right now, it's a cover 3 or cover 1 because in a cover 1, this guy will go to a middle third. And then if it's a cover 1, this guy will come down into his man coverage responsibility, which might be on the running back. But if you play it a little further, you're going to see, okay, linebackers are actually kind of just standing up and not following anybody. It's actually a cover 3. Now, one thing I'm going to say is this is getting a little bit more advanced, and I didn't want to talk about this. But there are certain routes that you can get good information from instead of looking at the safeties. So something I do all the time in this formation is I'll run B on an out route, and then, you know, I'll run something like this, right? And what I do is I look at this out route and I get a lot of information from this outside cornerback, because snap the ball and I can see, oh, he's dropping back. I immediately know it's a cover 3. Or it could be a cover 4 technically. But either way, my out route's going to be open. So this is another case of getting information very quickly. I see, okay, he's bailing immediately. Out route's open, and it's probably a cover 3 or cover 4. If I don't want to throw him, I might have another route on the field that beats cover 3. Just depends. But that's just another way of reading a defense. It's just getting information in ways that you can as quickly as possible. So again, let me snap the ball. Safety comes down, cover 3 or cover 1. And then you look at your reads that can beat cover 3 or cover 1. So what can beat cover 3 or cover 1 in this case? Technically, you're running back, but you don't really want to throw him. your out route over there on the right, which we've already shown you last snap. And then that corner route is not going to get open. The outside third will match to him. And then this guy's really boxed. So this setup ends up not being good versus cover 3. But that's where having route combinations like what I showed earlier are really good, where you flood a zone with options versus man. Because, for instance, let's just say, you know what? I think this is a zone. I just don't know what zone it is. I'm going to snap the ball. I'm going to figure out what zone it is, and then I'm going to throw accordingly. So snap the ball, read the safeties. Safety comes down, probably cover 3. Get it to my corner route, just like that. Cool? Does that make sense? If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section, because I know if you're a beginner, this could be a lot of information to take in. And this is kind of like an abstract thing, because you kind of gain a lot of this information from experience, not from hearing somebody talk about it. But I'm just trying my best to illustrate my point. So you see, you also have this guy open. The flat zone does not get out to him. And then generally speaking, like I said, remember this backside drag. If you're expecting a zone, something like this is always going to be pretty good because he's just going to get underneath. All of them played really shallow for some reason. I have no idea why. So the drag was technically boxed, but you know, this corner out is just wide open. So let's look at a couple other coverages before we end the video, so you guys are familiar with how other things look as well. So let's go ahead and do cover 4. And then just send my routes out. So look at the safeties this time. You're going to see that, okay, hold on. I have no idea. This should have been a drop because I don't have I don't have my coaching adjustments on match. So I don't know why this safety on the ISO side kind of matched for a second. Yeah, they're playing kind of match right now. Let me figure this out real quick. So go to instant replay. Okay, I do have it on match. My bad. So cover 4 this time. So baseline press, again, I have no idea what coverage this is. I'm going to have to snap the ball and figure it out. Snap. And then what we're going to do is we're going to read the safeties. Again, go to instant replay. Let's take a quick look here. What are the safeties doing? Snap. They're dropping straight back. When you see them dropping, both of them dropping straight back, you can safely assume it's a cover 4 drop. So remember, the reason for that is the structural integrity of the defense depends on what these safeties are doing. So for instance, these two are dropping to the inside quarters of the field. So what does that mean? They're defending only half the field technically, just the middle half. Well, what would happen if these guys on the outside were in halves, or not in halves, in clouds? Well, the guys on the outside could run right by them for a one-play touchdown. So basically you assume what these cornerbacks are doing based on what these safeties are doing. And anytime you see them staying towards the inside quarters of the field, you know, it's probably not a man coverage. And that's one of the good things about reading a cover 4 drop is if they're not playing match, like I said, they're just playing a cover 4 drop, it like pretty much has to be a zone. And that's when you can just process things a little bit faster. So what I recommend doing if you're new to the game is just calling the coverages, going through all of the coverages, like a cover 1, a cover 0, a cover 3. Basically going through all of these and just letting the play run and just getting familiar with how things look. That would be my number 1 recommendation, because you need to know how defenders react and how they drop into their assignments before you can really play Madden at a high level. So, like I said, just come out in like a cover 3, snap the ball, and just look at what they do. Just look at what the zone defenders do, get very familiar with it. Really focus on the shell of the defense. I think that's your number 1 starting place, is just focus on the shell. And what the shell means, it's basically the deep zones. It's the guys that will prevent the big plays from happening, generally speaking. That's what the shell means. So, for instance, a outside third is part of the shell, a middle third is part of the shell, and then over here, the outside third over here is part of the shell as well. Just think of it as like the last line of defense, like the protective barrier from the end zone. That's what the shell is. And then what you can do when you've kind of moved on from, you're kind of familiar with how everything looks, this is when you just start doing random defense. So if you look underneath the defensive formation, so you see nickel over storm brave in the middle. If you look right underneath that, you'll see press left stick down for random over. And what that's going to do is give you a random defense out of this formation. So we'll do that. Random over. And this is how you start getting really, really familiar with how things look. And this is just snap the ball and just make your guess beforehand. Make your guess what you think the coverage is going to be. And then try to process it as fast as you can. And then go ahead and make your read. So I'll go ahead and do it for you a couple times. So just send your routes out. It doesn't really matter. Forget about making the reads. We're just reading the defense. So read the safeties first. I see that they're dropping in the deep halves. Ends up being the cover 2. Because I look underneath and I see where it's a Tampa 2, where you have the zones. But I immediately saw the safeties dropping in the deep halves. So let's go ahead and do it again. Read the safety. Okay, so it's a cover 3. He drops into a middle third and there's zones underneath. Do it one more time. Send the routes out, read the safeties. I see that it's a cover 1 or a cover 3. Ends up being a cover 1 because the safety comes down into a robber. So you'll see if it's a cover 1 robber, one guy will roll to the middle of the field. This guy right here, that's the middle third. This guy rolls down into his robber, which is like a yellow zone basically. And so it's a mixture of zone and man coverage. And that's where you have to be careful because this guy could pick you off if you're not careful. All right, so that's going to be it for how to read a defense in Madden 23. Now, this was a very basic and surface level look at how to do so, as well as some good practices on how to get better. But if you have any leftover questions, let me know in the comment section or join my Discord, which is located in the description. And then drop a like if you enjoyed. Really helps my channel grow. It's greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more Madden 23 content. But lastly, if you're still watching this video, this is the most important part. Please head over to King Wolf's channel on YouTube. The guy's the GOAT. I promise. He has amazing tips. He has great gameplay. He's funny. Like, he's entertaining and he has good, valuable insights. So check him out on YouTube. Subscribe. Tell him that A sent you. And that is the most important part of the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.